Greetings, ladies and Mendeljets, and welcome to this latest episode of Tales from Outer Space, where I take a space-related story from around the internet and read it out loud for your enjoyment. All the relevant links are down below. Please don't forget to do the usual YouTube gumph, because if you don't, the nanite swarms will steal your other sock. But more importantly, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I'd quickly like to thank the following Tier 5 patrons and channel members for supporting the channel: Datamagnet and Bob the Dragon. Thank you very much. Story number 1. The Highest Form of Treason, written by Eddie. The Terran looked up at the High Justice of the Intergalactic Union of Species and smiled. No one liked it when the Terran smiled. I always did that when things were going to go or had gone badly for someone or something else. So, to clarify, unless the Terran Confederation's terms of surrender are absolute, the Macht will not accept the surrender, and will treat all Terran vessels as pirate or military vessels. He didn't wait for confirmation. He knew that it was the case. This was just a formality. In that case, I would like to submit these documents for the universe filing. You will find the terms of a full surrender. There was silence. What had just happened? The Terrans had surrendered without a fight. What was this? You will also find a full inventory of the Confederation's resources and forces. The High Justice looked over the papers, then spluttered. What is this? 8 pencils, 6 chairs. There's nothing here. He glared at the Terran, who only smiled wider. Oh, did I forget? See this here? He produced yet another document from the voluminous stack next to him. It is a declaration of the results of a rather nasty rebellion that happened a little while ago. The Terran Confederation was reduced a little more than a tiny listening station on the outskirts of space. Also attached is a notice of withdrawal from the Union. He handed over another small pile of paper. There was yet more spluttering, and the entire court erupted into chaos. Finally, the judge recovered his voice. You have no evidence of this rebellion until proof is submitted. All you. Now the grinning Terran cut him off with a rustle of paper and a slight cough. U.S. Law Section 177811-6, subsection 8b. Any evidence of warfare, legal matters, transgressions, or similar events are to be inspected and confirmed by the presenting party and will be treated as fact. The lawyer put down the paper. Such law was invoked by the Macht for their Casa Belli and now dissolved confederation, despite protests from all other involved parties. He smiled sweetly at the High Justice. Here is the recording of the rebellion, at least as best as could be by cameras active at the time. He presented a small memory chip and set it down on the table. In reality, it just contained a very long, very loud recording of a specific human song. The Justice suppressed another bout of spluttering and was slowly going blue in anger. This was supposed to be a humiliation of the Terrans, putting them back in their place under the Union. This will not stand. This is treason. The Terran actually laughed. I guess to tyrants the highest form of treason is freedom, he said, and handed over a rather large stack of papers. Upon closer inspection, it was easy to see that the font was so small one would need a magnifier to read it. The paper was also double-sided. Humanity is no longer a confederation, union, or any such thing. Each human ship is its own sovereign. This is a unified aid agreement between all human starships, colonies, space stations, and outposts, excluding the listening post that remains of the Terran Confederation, obviously. If you wish to deal with humanity, you must come to an agreement with each ship captain, station commander, fleet admiral, etc., on their own terms. The High Justice looked about, ready to explode. Meanwhile, the human had picked up a rather large case and set it down on the desk. "This, that makes you all pirates, treasonous pirates." The justice finally found his words. The human raised an eyebrow. "Does it now? Well, then, you'll be needing these," he said, and presented another sheath of paper as he picked up a tricorn hat from the case and put it on his head. The lawyer, our pirate, was trying very hard not to laugh. He'd been wanting to do this in court for years. You'll find, as agreed by over 90% of the galaxy's pirates, the newest form of pirate code. And as per Union law, I can't be bothered to remember the number, but who cares? I'm a pirate now. The Union will permit non-Union members to dress as is standard for them in formal settings. As the human was talking, he was pulling things out of the trunk. A very long, heavy coat with the silvered buttons, a waist holster with what appeared to be a heavy caliber pistol, and strangest of all, a metal blade about 3.5 feet long and slightly curved. Additionally, when an outside species or other group is examined in Union law, they may request a judgment and trial in line with their species. Now you will find that code that the defendant of any accusation may choose a trial by court of their peers, or may choose to face the accuser in a sword duel. He pulled out the second blade and placed it on the High Justice's desk, before walking back to the chest and pulling out an eye patch and putting it on. "I request trial by sword," he said, grinning like a madman. The entire court, which had been silent, aghast at the human's tenacity and gall of doing such a thing, exploded to noise, shouts, yells, jeering, and cheering. It was utter chaos. The constant banging of the High Justice on the desk took a good 5 minutes to bring the courtroom back to order. The justice itself was apoplectic with rage, spitting and trying not to swear. It took the creature another 3 minutes to go from incapable of talking to a more moderate seething state. "Get out of my court," the creature said, trying to keep its tone calm and even. The human smiled and raised a hat in polite thanks. And one more thing," the human pirate said at the doors, turning to face the assembled dignitaries. They looked confused at the human as the human grinned. "You may want to head back to your own ships." He snapped his fingers as the entire station went red and alarms started going off. The last words that were heard was the human gloating as he walked down the corridor. "We pirated the life support." End of story. Story number 2. This is a human. Written by Terran Eclipse. "So, what is it?" asked a very tall, yet spindly, insectoid-like creature, antennas twitching in confusion. "Nurse," said an even taller bird-like creature, covered in blue and black feathers, with massive feathery wings, "is a human." The bird held a small, pink-skinned creature in front of it like a youngling showing its broodmother something that interested it. The human was small, only reaching the insect's waist or the bird's thigh. It wore strange black fabric that hugged its upper form and loosely hugged its pants. "Uh-huh. And, what does that human do exactly?" the insect asked. "It does loads of stuff. Most importantly, however, it does this." The bird set the human down and pulled out the laser pointer, aiming it at the thick metal wall across the room. The human's eyes locked on to the wall, and when the bird whistled, it charged across the room in a blinding speed and put a massive dent into the wall. The human walked back over to the bird, who picked it up and sat it on a large blue shoulder, the human's lips parting, revealing 2 rows of white teeth. The bird flapped its wings once, and the human quickly closed its mouth, almost looking ashamed of itself as the bird shot it a glare. The bird looked across the table at the insect, idly scratching at the human's hair before speaking. "This is a human. Humans are Galactic Concord's newest member species, and also its new weapon. And, as you can tell by the rather large dent in the duratanium wall over there, they are very strong and also durable. The little buggers can take point-blank shots from anti-tank weapons. You should see what they can do with some power armor. The bird sighed happily as the human started scratching behind her ears, wings flapping in comfort as her eyes closed. The insect started shifting in its seat, uncomfortable with the bird and the human's antics. "Why are you showing me this?" The bird's avian eyes lit up as it spoke. "Well, Ambassador, unless you want us to set these little buggers onto your precious empire, let's start talking peace." "So, you think we fooled them?" the human said as he rode on the bird's shoulder out of the building. "Well, this treaty I'm holding should give you an answer. Little bugger, you probably scared the insect out of its chitin," the very tall bird said. The human smirked a little and his eyes trailed down to the bird's form until it reached the laser pointer hanging on her waist. "Was the laser pointer thing really necessary?" the human said as he turned his head towards the Galactic Concord Ambassador's vessel, the sleek silver hull surrounded by armed guards, all of who dwarfed the human. The bird shrugged his shoulders, wobbling as the human grabbed onto the thick neck to stop himself from falling off, eyes filled with amusement. "Hey, it helps sell the look." The human and bird chuckled as they boarded the cruiser and it took off, flying off into the orange sky. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.